Well, there's Hunter Biden. Would you trust this man with your finances? Do you think he's responsible enough to pay your bills? That was the arrangement he seemed to have had with his dad, now the president. At the time we're about to discuss, the vice president of the United States. Look at this. This is Joe Biden's lake house, and we have material that suggests, in a weird, another bizarre twist, Hunter Biden was paying these bills, and who knows where the money was coming from. Well, we have a pretty good idea where that money was coming from. I'd like to bring in John Solomon, founder of Just the News and one of the greatest journalists in the country, fearless, by the way, and a Newsmax contributor. John, welcome. How are you?
It's a pleasure to be with you, Greg.
So tell us a little bit about why Hunter would be paying Joe Biden's bills. It might seem kind of unusual at first glance, but I understand that this actually was a pattern that may have extended for many, many years.
There are certainly suggestions in the emails on his laptop, and we've done a lot of due diligence on this laptop. We've identified more than 1,000 people who got emails that are on this laptop and confirmed with them that those are legitimate emails. Yes, those things occurred. So there's not any doubt this is Hunter Biden's laptop anymore. These are authentic emails. And what you see is many times when he's talking to family and close business associates, he's lamenting the fact that he had to pay dad's bills or the big guy's bills. And this period begins, I think the first email we see is around 2013, and they go all the way into 2017, 2018, where he's talking about setting aside a 10% interest in one of his Chinese investments for the big guy, obviously referring to Joe Biden. And listen, on the flip side of this, what started 2 years ago with these strong denials by the Biden team that we never helped Hunter Biden on any business, well, that's fallen apart too. Joe Biden was showing up, meeting people, whether it was Burisma executives, Chinese executives, other executives, Mexican executives, that when Hunter Biden was courting them for business, Joe Biden shows up in photos, emails, meetings. This was a symbiotic relationship if Hunter Biden's emails are an accurate account of what was going on. And that should trouble us all for two reasons. The Biden team and the president on down have not told us the truth. And two, it creates an enormous portrait of a conflict of interest. The very reason why I started reporting on Hunter Biden and Joe Biden in 2019. Yeah. This created an appearance of a conflict of interest. It undercut confidence in the State Department and the Biden administration.
Speaking of portraits, I just saw the most bizarre father-son portrait ever. I don't know what they were thinking when they took this picture, but I want to go on to Joe Biden's neighbor, the former FBI director, Louis Freeh. You're familiar with the email back and forth. Louis Freeh wanted to give a Biden family trust $100,000. This is for the children of Beau Biden. Beau, of course, is deceased. $100,000, that is a lot of money. It's kind of seems like it's from out of the blue. Why would Louis Freeh want to give this kind of money to the Bidens, and what might he expect in return?
Well, that is a great question. And one of the problems with these trusts is that there isn't visibility into them. We weren't allowed to see what was coming into them. We now know that Burisma, the corrupt Ukrainian company where Hunter Biden, well, they gave $20,000 to the Beau Biden Foundation as part of this. There were lots of people trying to donate around and after the tragic death of Beau Biden. And the question always remains, are they doing it because they just want to be charitable, or do they have a business interest? Right now, we haven't fully identified a business interest for Louis Freeh. I can tell you that back in the day when Louis Freeh was FBI director, he had a lot of tension with Democrats, particularly in the Clinton White House, where he battled the Clinton White House often. We didn't know of any prior relationship with Joe Biden. We're still digging into it. But again, all of these secret things that should have been out and open, they were all hidden from us. And the truth of the matter is, Hunter Biden has been in the political version of a witness protection program for a very long time. The media, big tech, Democrats in Congress, the government agencies have all tried to hide the very outlandish efforts that Hunter Biden has done to make money for himself and his family.
Well, this is perhaps the most outlandish. His foray into the art world. At 51, we're finding out that Hunter Biden is the new Banksy. And, well, we've talked to some art critics, and let's show you the art. It's no good. Nobody who knows anything about art seems to be impressed with this. Yes, you can find a critic somewhere, probably buy them off, and they'll say something nice about it. But the people who know, and I don't know how the heck he's creating this thing with that pipe. What's actually going on here? A lot of folks suspect that this just might be yet another way to get money to the Bidens.
Listen, I think Hunter Biden said it himself best when he was on that ABC interview. A lot of things came my way because of my last name. That's probably the most honest statement he's made in the last 5 years. Listen, he had no gas and oil experience. He lands on the board of Burisma making $83,000 a month. He doesn't appear to be a very accomplished artist, and yet they're now looking at people buying between $30,000 and $500,000 per portrait. And right now, talking about that witness protection program, right? The White House Ethics Council appears to be trying to find a way to hide the names of the people who are going to buy this art. That's a red flag. Transparency is what we demand of our elected officials and their families when they get to the highest office, the president. And now Hunter Biden and the White House are trying to hide who's paying these outrageous amounts of money for this art that a lot of people aren't very impressed with.
Well, you mentioned that interview on ABC, which was supposed to be the definitive interview, and he acknowledged the Biden name, but he was also proud of his credentials. Let's take a look at that, please.
What were your qualifications to be on the board of Burisma?
Well, I was vice chairman of the board of Amtrak for 5 years. I was the chairman of the board of the UN World Food Program. I was a lawyer for Boies Schiller Flexner, one of the most prestigious law firms in the world.
You didn't have any extensive knowledge about natural gas or Ukraine itself, though?
No, but I think that I had as much knowledge as anybody else that was on the board, if not more.
In the list that you gave me of the reasons why you're on that board, you did not list the fact that you were the son of the vice president.
Of course, yeah, no.
What role do you think that played?
I think that it is impossible for me to be on any of the boards that I just mentioned without saying that I'm the son of the vice president of the United States.
But that's kind of, he didn't lead with that. Again, he's a compliance lawyer. He has all that experience on the Amtrak board. How did he get that job? Amtrak Joe, he took it every... But there's one more I want to play for you, John, where he seems to acknowledge a bit more forthrightly that the name opens all the doors. Take a look at this.
They saw my name as gold. And one of the reasons that they did was this. Right at that period of time, the Russians had invaded and taken Crimea, and they were after the natural resources and the pipeline. And I know that Burisma wanted to do one thing, is that they wanted to create a bulwark against that Russian aggression. They knew that they had to expand internationally and into other sectors in order to be able to diversify and protect themselves. And the Biden name is synonymous with democracy and transparency.
Did you know that? It was synonymous with democracy and transparency, John?
Well, in Hunter Biden's mind, it apparently was. For most of us who've covered this story for the last years, it seems to be synonymous with corruption and ethical conflicts of interest. And those aren't my words. Those are the words that State Department officials gave in depositions when they were interviewed by Senator Grassley and Ron Johnson and their staffs. They said that what Hunter Biden did in Burisma undercut the American effort to fight corruption in Ukraine. It created a conflict of interest. Those are the words of the people who were working for Joe Biden at the time. And yet, when we first started reporting on this and we went through the Ukraine impeachment, we were all wagged off as crazy conspiracy theorists. There's no there. Now we know he was under investigation for tax evasion. He was creating a conflict of interest. He was undercutting U.S. policy. What a difference a couple of years make. If we had all that information during the first impeachment trial, I think the House impeachment managers would have been laughed out of the Senate.
Hey, real quick, John, regarding that investigation that we heard about, I think now last year,
right?
Is anything going to come of that? I mean, what happened to it? And is this stuff so bad that even the fake news and even career prosecutors are going to say, hold on, we've got to do something?
Well, listen, we just saw a memo that I reported on just a couple of weeks ago where Hunter Biden's own lawyers told him, hey, you didn't pay taxes on your Burisma money. 2 years later, by the way. That's called evasion or tax avoidance. We know there's strong evidence for a criminal case. The question is, will the Justice Department have the will to do it?
All right. John Solomon, welcome to Newsmax again, and we'll check out Just the News. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.